Okay, so I'm on page now WD38 where it tells us how to insert a table. A table is just going to help you to use data in a tabular format, and there's all different things that you can do with a table, including addition and multiplication and things of that nature. So it tells us to scroll down to the insertion point in a blank paragraph above the upcoming conferences. So let's find that, which is right here, and here is the blank paragraph. I'm going to show you different ways to insert a table. I will show you the way the book tells you, and I will show you the way that I normally do it. So it tells us to insert and a table. And when you click on it, it lets you choose whether or not you want a 2x2 table, 4x1, 4x4, things of that nature. It wants us to do a 2x4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that, but it's easy to get the wrong thing. So what I do normally is click on Insert Table, and I will type in, I want 2 columns and 5 rows, or 4 rows. That's the way I normally do it. And you can leave this fixed, con, and all this other stuff in here, and you don't check this. So it does the same basic thing as we've done before. So that should be right above conferences, and I think it wants probably to remove the paragraph mark, but I'm not going to worry about that. Point to the second box in the fourth row in here, click type platform, then press tab. So I'm going to start off with typing platform, and when you press the tab, it takes you to the next column. If you need a tab in there, you can press the control and tab in there. Otherwise, tab just takes you to it. If you want to add a row at the bottom, you can just keep hitting tabs until it does all that. So that's what it's going to tell you to do. So rather than me going and typing all this stuff, I'm going to take the table that I had already created before it was formatted and copy it over. And it may not be formatted properly because I did copy it. So let's go into and we'll paste it. All right, so that worked out good, and I'm going to delete this. Now, let me show you a trick. If you want to delete a row and you hit the delete key, that's not going to delete it. It just deletes the contents. So I'm going to click on these 4 rows or 5 rows, and I'm just going to hit the cut. So that takes it. So now we have all the information as in figure 3-11. So I want to insert rows and delete rows. It's really easy to do. There's more than one way to do it. I'm not a big fan of how the book tells you to do it. I like to do it a different way. So I'm on page 3-10. It says click on the home tab in the paragraph. Okay, so we have the formatted tabs. I always do that. Move the pointer to the left border above the Twitter row and click insert. So here's the Twitter row. So we're moving it over to here till you get the plus sign. When you click on that, that will insert a row above. Or I could have just been in here, right-clicked, and here is insert and row above. You can do that in anywhere that you want. So again, there's multiple ways that you can do the same thing in here. Choose the one that you feel the most comfortable with. I happen to be a right-click friend. All right, so in the first cell, we want to type in snapshot. And apparently, I already have that. So I may have to change a few things in here. Snapchat brand awareness. Okay, so I already have that in there, and then in the margin, enter in the pointer, change and click the select rows and drag down, select it in here, and we're going to insert a row below the Lincoln. So let me get rid of this here. Remember, it's cut. And I'm going to just right click and choose insert. And you can choose either row below or row above. So we need to do, Lincolnton needs to be here. So let me again see where I'm at so I get the right thing. So we need to do under Lincolnton, we need a WhatsApp. So let me do a insert here. Notice I've done it a different way now. I want a row below and I'm typing in WhatsApp. Hitting the tab key and I'm putting in website traffic. All right. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing the deleting and inserting in here. But I will show you how to do it. If you want to delete a row, I'm going to right click on it and I can choose delete cells. And you can delete the entire row. And so I'm going to make it so we need platform, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. I put Snapshot instead of Snapchat and Twitter. So let me change that. And I'm going to delete this row here. I'm selecting it and deleting it. So there, and let me spell this correctly. So this is what should be right over here. Then it's going to want us to insert rows in here. So I've already done that and typed in the information in here. So to insert a column to the right, again, insert column to the right. You can see insert column to the right, and in here, same thing. Selecting a row is just easy. Notice that you have the little arrow here and the little black arrow down here. That selects a row. So I am now at the bottom of page 311. And the rest of we're going to do as the book says. I will get rid of this here. And we're good to go. So I may need to put that back in. The book does not give you the paragraph mark, so sometimes it's very hard to tell what's what. So we have table styles. There are all kinds of table styles. So the easiest thing to do, you need to click in a table. What I normally do is I will click on this over here to select the table. So notice that you have table design and that you have layout in here. So notice that you have these two and they have different things. So your table design gives you all the different layouts. So I'm clicking the table 2's design button, the more button, and we want grid table 5 dark accent 1. So here's the more button and here's our grid. So we want table 5 dark accent 1. So you don't know which is which. You need to find out which is, and you're going to need to start. So here's grid table 1, grid table 2, table 3, table 4, and it takes a while sometimes to find what they want. They usually tell you which row and which column it's in. And it happens to be in grid table 5, looks like it's in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 row second column. So that should be this. Grid table 5, dark accent 1. So boom. So that takes care of that. You can see on figure 316, that's the one. And then the next thing it's going to ask us to do is scroll down to table styles, more button. We want to do grid table 2, accent 3. Okay. So we need to find grid table 2, accent 3. table 1. All right, so here's grid table. So that looks kind of ugly in my opinion, but then it wants us to get rid of the banded rows and banded columns. So let me check them over here. So what that means is every other row is going to be different, and here every other column is going to be different. So I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to get rid of this. Now remember that once you put it in, the next time you do a table, it's going to be the same. So you can see it kind of doesn't look all that exciting. So if I were to click on banded rows, you can see every other one is going to be different. So it does tell us in here to get rid of the banded rows to clear it. So we want to select the first column of the table, and we're going to change it to dark green. So let me click in here, and let's go and get rid of the banded. Here we're going to now select that row, rather that column, and it tells us it wants green accent 6, darker 25. So I'll just go to our, if the mini toolbar is there, you can go to it from here. So we want green accent 6, darker 25. I believe that's that. So now we have the first column is in green. Then the next thing it tells us to do is select the first row and make it blue accent 1, darker 25. Selecting a row is very easy. Just go over here and select it. You can also go into layout and select, and then you can select row, table, column, and cell. So there's many different ways to do the same thing. So let's go into this here, and we want blue accent 1, darker 25%. So I just finished number 7. Select the budget and cost columns and click the center button. So we're going to do this here. And I held down the control key, so I selected them both. And there's different ways that you can center, and there's different types of center. There is center horizontally and there's center vertically. But in this particular case, they want you to do center. So we don't have the mini toolbar here. So let's just go to home and click on the center here. If you go into the table design or layout and find this over here, notice you have another toolbar over here. So you can do the same thing from that. Notice this is top, this is center, and this is bottom. But this is center to the left, center, center, and that. So you have different ways, again, of doing the exact same thing. All right, so that takes care of number 8. Number 9, click the in here and click the center of the paragraph and deselect the table. So we've already taken care of that. Click Control Home and save your changes. Online pictures. I was not able to find the online picture that they had in here, so I just chose something else. So we want to click online here. So let's go and insert and pictures and choose online. So sometimes it takes a bit of time. And it tells us to type in meeting. Spelling does count. And it wants the Creative Comment. Now, I was not able to find what it shows in the book, the 3 people sitting at a table with a little cloud. So I just chose this one here. Let's just see by some chance it actually shows. And you can see more and more pop up as things go by. So I'm going to go back to the meeting one that I found. Was this here? It's not going to be the same size that is there, but that's not a big deal. So we're going to click on Insert. And boom, it made a rather large one in here. So what it wants us to do also is resize it. And let's see where it does say that. Okay, I have just scaled this while the video is being paused to make it a little bit more workable, since we're using a different image than what the book is asking us for. So we don't have to worry about deleting the credit line because there is no credit line right here. So I'm clicking on the picture tools and the color button, and we're going to adjust it in here. So you click over here. Here is the adjust. Here's the color button. And then it wants us to choose blue accent 1 color light. So let's see where we're at. Blue accent 1 color dark. And there we go. So now you can see that it actually changed the color. It's still kind of in the wrong position, but we're going to fix that over there. Click the picture border button and in the style group and choose blue accent 1, then deselect it. So here is the picture border. And we want blue accent 1. So you can see you can also change the border. You can do the weight. You can make it bigger. You can do dashes. So we'll just leave it as is. So we're going to click the image to select in the layout. We want to do the square button. So this is an image here, and here should be square. And then it wants us to drop it down over here so we don't mess with the heading line. And notice that the little green arrow line there, that makes it easy for you to line things up. So this looks a lot nicer in here, and we can play with that later on. So that is all of WD. So I'm going to show you how to size it. It's really very easy to do. So let me go over the different size methods in here. First thing you can do is click, and you can drag these things down. Now, if you hold the shift key down, it's going to drag it and proportionalize. In other words, whatever you do to the height is going to do to the width. If you want to just make it more narrow, you use this, but that will make the picture look kind of strange. So you don't want to do that. Be very careful with that. So it tells us to go into the middle right sizing handle and make it narrow, and then tells us to undo. So you can see what that really does. I'm not really a big fan of doing that. So what it wants us to do is make the graphic approximately 2 by 2. We really can't do that here. So let's go into size. And you can, if we go in here, notice that lock aspect ratio. So because this is 2, if I were to change this to say 1.8, notice that it's going to change, which it actually did not. I do not know why. So let me cancel that. And we have absolute. So, but anyway, in this particular case, we're going to, the reason being is because of this here, more than likely. So that got changed before. So let's go and notice the different things that you can do here. So let's lock the aspect ratio. Let's change this in here. And again, there you go. So you can see that this changed in here. So you need to get rid of this over here to make sure that it works in here. That's the next step, is going to give you a thing. So let's go back to 2. Let's get rid of the lock aspect, and let's just make this 2.5. Not recommended to do, because it's very easy. It's very easy to mess it up. I personally don't like that, but we're going to leave it for now. We've done the width in here. So then it wants to select a measurement in a box and type 50. So let's go back and do that here. And let's just type in 50 and see what happens. And you can see that made it 50. So now you're seeing there's all different ways to change it. And then we want to do the position. So all we have to do is click on the picture, go to picture format. Here's picture, position. And this is to the page. So if you're doing something on the second page, it'll do it to the second page. So let's just move it over here. And we're good. There's another one that's going to be done and put in there, and that when we do the format shapes. So we'll pick up on that on our next video, which I will probably do this afternoon or over the weekend in here.